All right, hey guys, my name's Geraghty, and I'm an elementary school teacher, so I was really excited when Yasko asked if I could come help out, and I couldn't believe the setting that you guys got, because it was a little different than when
What school are you from?
I taught 4th grade for 15 years. I taught 3rd grade last year. I'm teaching 3rd grade this year. I work at Boulder Valley School District in Bloomfield. I teach at Aspen Creek, K-8 school. I guess you guys saw a video yesterday where somebody from NPR came and see what we were doing, so maybe that's why I look familiar. But when I took the first class, I know how you guys are feeling when they started showing the diffusion and the methods, and you guys just lost and you're just like trying to keep up. I was there. I'm the last person that I thought I'd be standing up here talking to somebody about all this. But a few years ago when I did this, it was in a big classroom setting with what is there, 80, 100 people, I don't even know, a standing room only, and my partner Chris and I were the only elementary school teachers in a room full of middle school and high school computer teachers. And we felt really out of place, and we didn't understand what we were doing, and we didn't know how we were actually going to try to teach this to our kids. And we're still trying to figure it out, actually, but I just wanted to tell you a few things that I was doing, and I wanted to ask you guys also, you know, logistically, how are you guys going to do this too? Because what I find now is that we have a hard time trying to find computer lab time, you know, to do this, and you need lots of time one-on-one with the kids on their own computer to do this. And I have an hour a week in a computer lab, so it's really hard for me to do that. We want to get there, so when we first started implementing it, we started as an after-school program, and we were a little nervous. We were teaching 4th graders, and we were like, can they do this? Everybody's doing this for middle school and high school kids, and so we started with a group of kids, a bunch of talented and gifted students, and then we branched out to a few other people that we thought could handle it, and they did more than we could even imagine. They were in, you know, the first half day, they did more than we did in the, you know, first day that we were in this institute. So they really impressed us with the stuff they were able to do, and we had such a great response, and the kids were so involved and so engaged. Nothing but positive feedback back from all the parents. And we decided to do a second round with these kids, and you know, so that we could teach them more. We started with the Frogger, and then we were able to teach them the Cent with the Diffusion and Pac-Man and things like that, so that they were able to create some of their own games. And then the next year, what we did is we used those kids as a mentor role. We called them Frogger Ninjas, and we had them come back as a mentor helping role. So we started and we branched it out to even a bigger group of kids after school. We did 2 different classes, and they were able to help problem solve so many of the problems with the kids, and were just amazing in the way they could explain and understand things. So that really helped out a lot too. And then we were able to do a little showcase. We called it the Showcase Showdown. Alex showed up at one of them, and we invited all the parents to come out, much like they did there, and we had some food, and just to show the parents all the cool stuff that their kids were doing and creating their games. From there, we're still trying to figure out how we can get it into the classroom, because all these middle school teachers and high school teachers, they got their computer lab time and they got their classes every day, so it's a little bit different for us. So, you know, how are you guys going to do it too? That's what we're trying to figure out. We were able to do a summer program this summer, and we just kind of threw it together, and it was incredible. It was the best thing. We were already looking forward to next summer. We just did a week long, you know, we did a morning session and an afternoon session, like 3 hours for each of the sessions, and just a week long, and the kids were amazing. They were all able to make the Frogger game. They were all so engaged. They never wanted to leave. The parents would be like, no, we gotta go, you know, they didn't want to leave. And we actually did something because we wanted to get more girls involved, and then the groups in the after-school clubs, we'd have like 1 or 2 girls, and it would be all boys, you know, making the video games. And so we set up, one group was just girls only, and it was awesome, and it was great. And so we had a girls only, and then we opened up the afternoon, in the morning for everybody, and the response and the feedback was incredible. And there are already kids that are looking forward to, they want to do it next year, and so we're already thinking about next year to having an advanced one where we start teaching, all right, everybody who's done Frog already, now we can start doing some Pac-Man and some Sokoban and some other things, and we can do some STEM simulations. And and then we're going to open it up. We've done it for, now we're going to try to do it for 3rd graders too. So we were doing 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders. And we have a couple teachers in our school. We work at a K-8 school. So there are a couple teachers who have also taken from them in the middle school, and I try to do that for some of the kids too. So it's nice to have some of the kids go from the elementary up to the middle school and be able to do that. But we're still trying to figure out how we can get it, to go every day in the classroom, and we're still struggling with that. So it was originally started out as an after school, more like the talented and gifted kids, but now we realize that, anybody can do this. And, Ian's been working with kindergartners and stuff like that too. So we were really, really excited about all the stuff, and so grateful to have the opportunity to do this. So don't be discouraged. I know you guys, I saw all your faces and you're just trying to keep up this morning when you start doing that. You guys can do it, and they're so helpful. If you ever have a question or a problem, they're always there to come and help you out. And they'll come and visit even, and you just send zip it up to them, they'll tell you, oh, here's your problem. We're getting better at doing it now. We haven't even had to ask you to solve any problems in the last couple of times. So. And the kids start getting better at it too. I have so many kids that come up, hey, I have a problem with this, and I'm like, well, what'd you do? And they're like, oh, never mind, I figured it out. So they'll start problem solving on their own. So you'll be amazed by what these kids can do, but I guess it's just how logistically can you do it. And I think it's great what your school is doing, because your school district's doing, because having this type of setting is so much better for you guys, and having your coordinators here, and I think you guys are going in the right direction, so that's awesome. So we'll be stealing some ideas from you guys. But if you guys have any questions for me, I'm here. Yeah?
What observations, just out of curiosity, did you see with the girls only versus the mixed gender groups?
The girls only group, it was fun to do it just for this summer. I guess it was a little bit different for me because a lot of the girls were actually girls that were in my class, specifically in my classroom the year before, so I knew most of them already. And I was really excited. There was a group of about 5 girls that were just super bright, and I was just like, you guys have to do this, and they just couldn't wait for it. It was really good to have that because for so long it was so dominated by the boys, and then the girls they would shrink. I don't know. They wouldn't be, the boys would dominate a lot of the conversations, or and so it was really good when you just didn't have that element there. That the girls, I don't know, they just seemed to, blossom a lot more. It was a lot. It was really good that we tried to do that. And we got that idea from him to try just, as a girls only. I was like, wow, I didn't think about that, and it was really good. And I think it was very good to get them in there, because when we didn't do it, we really didn't get the girls to sign up. And I don't know why. It was just mostly the boys. So, and it also was hard. We were doing it after school, and everybody's got dance and soccer, and piano lessons and all stuff. So that was hard too. So doing them at the beginning of the summer, but if you have them in the school time, that would be the ideal setting. So that's what we're trying to figure out how we can do that now.
What was the age range during summer?
Summer we did just ending 3rd grade and 2 kids who just finished 5th grade. So, and we just seriously threw it together in the last 2 weeks of school. And so next year we're already planning like what we're going to do next year, because we weren't planning on doing, because we didn't realize that when you do it in the summertime, you don't get to have your computer lab for free, and the school district charges you for it, and then you have to get liability insurance, and it was a whole nightmare that you didn't think about. And so, but I was really, really, really glad that we did it. And I think if I think the girls were so busy when we first started doing the after-school clubs that all these girls I thought would be doing it, they're like, I'm too busy, can't do it. So that's a problem too sometimes. Yeah.
So looking ahead, trying to get it during the day versus just after school, or some conversations you've had, or strategies you're starting to look at?
Well, it's tough because, the PTA just wants to buy iPads for the classrooms and stuff like that, and that doesn't really help our situation with this. And, logistically for elementary, I don't know what you guys have in your schools, but, we're a K-8 school, so we have to share also with the middle school. They have an upstairs lab, they even have a mobile lab, and then we have a downstairs lab too, but we have to share it with all elementary, and sometimes middle school does on a couple of days, so we're really short on time there. So we're still trying to figure that out. I know with H and cubes, and that's another thing that we're hoping to integrate too, is that we can eventually say, all right, now you guys did all this H and sheets, and now we can do, another class on H and cubes. we're hoping to maybe looking to get the grant for the Chromebooks, because you can do the Asian cubes on that with the web version. So we're trying to look into some things like that too. But yeah, that's the problem we're running into, is the logistics of actually doing it, because I'm not a computer teacher. I don't have a computer lab, and my kids come in every day. And so, you know, yeah, this is great in theory for that, and this is awesome that you guys are here, but, you know, you gotta wonder, all right, how am I gonna do this? You know, and I'd love to be able to just, you know, have my class, everybody making, it would be awesome.
How many computers do you have in your classroom?
In my classroom? Well, we have, I have two that are just, I've put in there that aren't really district computers, but in our little area outside our classrooms, we have about 10 computers in the little core tech area. So, you know, I guess we were trying to think, well, maybe if we partnered people up or something like that and did that, but, or maybe you did them in waves, like, all right, you do this group and this other group does something else. I don't know, we've been trying to think of things to do. My partner Chris and I, when we first did this, we used to teach 4th grade together. Now he's teaching 5th and I'm teaching 3rd, so we're still trying to coordinate some logistics and stuff like that. I did want to show you guys too, this summer when we had our group, we just, you know, we were teaching them. First we had them make all the 8. We talked about the Frogger game. We showed them. We actually let them just play the Frogger game first. You know, we just got to go online here, find Frogger game, just play it. We talked about all the things that were on there. We talked about when we were going to make them agents, and we talked about how we're going to make agents, and we had to make all their agents that we're going to need first. And then we went outside and we actually played a little Frogger game that we set up, just so they could see. And we talked about, well, how are the car is going to come out? Okay, well, what happens when the cars are done? And so we talked about somebody generating a car. You're going to hand them this little sign that says, I'm a car, and they walk across. And we talked about, well, when you get to the end, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to hand your little car symbol to this other person. He's going to absorb that car. And so we talked about generation, absorption. We talked about collision, what's going to happen what happens if the frog hits one of those cars. And then when you get across to the water part, we talked about the logs and the turtles. Same thing with the generating and absorbing, and then how there's transporting. So we talked about all those things by having them acted out. And then we went back and then created the worksheet, laid all their agents out, and then started talking about how do we make them do that. So these are just short little things, just so you can see. I don't even know which one to play. Let's see. So, and we talked about, well, how often are they going to come out? So we talked about, like, every 1 second we'll send one out. And so we have our generators over here handing them out, and we talked about the speed that they were going to come across to, and we had them going. And then they ran into the same problems that they're going to run into on their computer, which was great. You know, and then we're like, hey, does that how the frog moves? So we had to stop, you know, and then she's just like running through like this, like, no, the frog can go like this. And so we talked about that. We had logs that went faster than the turtles. So the logs went across like this, you know, as the turtles just went like this, and they were going slower. So we talked about the different speeds. So they had all these ideas before they went and to go make their game, you know. So they were already thinking ahead because they were able to act it out and do things like that. Let's do something.
It had sensitivity issues yesterday.
Sorry. So there was another one too, where all of a sudden somebody came across and then they had nobody to transport onto, and so we were just trying to say, well, what happened, you know? And then we talked about what this happened in your game and things like that. So my partner Chris, he made all these little things for the people to carry across, and then that's not the one I wanted. Sorry.
I noticed you used the jump ropes to create that next line.
Yeah, and that's what we did. We got this idea from the Brazil people, right? You showed that video. And so we got that idea, and we're like, hey, let's, you know, we got this summer camp, it was great, we got them, let's get outside for a little bit. So we decided to set these up, went to the gym, and I stole all their equipment. and, set it up for little places for them to go on. So we didn't have enough people in the class, to do the whole game, so we just did half and half. So first we did the car stuff, and well, what's going to happen now? And then we talked about transport and things like that. And so having them come across and transport across. But then we found out this was a great way for them to problem solve, because you're going to see this girl, when she gets to the end, after she transports, she gets all the way to the end, she's like, I had nowhere to go. She couldn't jump onto the next log or whatever. And we're like, all right, well, there's our problem in our game. So things that we're going to, we're a turtle, we're going across, and things like that. So it was just a fun way for the kids to, kinesthetically be learning about it, get these ideas, these computational thinking patterns. And they were able to talk about that. We're like, oh, what do we need? We need to generate this. We need to absorb this. All right.
The girls only group here too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then there's a couple boys, because one boy couldn't go in the morning, in the afternoon, or something like that. And then my son's there helping too. So that's my son over there. And so it was just really fun for these girls to be able to go do that and learn it that way. And they had an awesome time, and they couldn't wait to show their parents all these things that they were making. And they're so funny once they learn how to import images. You don't have to create the images all the time. They hardly even spent the time creating images. They just went to Google and imported an image, saved it, boom, there it is. And that's the coolest thing for them. They're like, oh, I want a pig. So I don't know what the deal was with these girls and the pig, but all these girls wanted a pig, and they had the pig, and then all of a sudden if it got killed, it turned into a piece of bacon. I was like, okay, whatever. So it was really funny. The creative ideas that they come up with is really amazing, and had people with, it was a soccer guy that, he wanted to have, I don't know if you guys know soccer players, but this guy, Kaká, he had a picture of him, and he has to get to the soccer ball, he has to go around the defenders and things like that, instead of the Frogger game. And so there was another girl that made a little heart, and she had to go through and go all the way across and jump, instead of a frog. So they can be really creative about the way they do these things. So it's amazing. They'll blow you away, and they'll think of things that you never thought of, and you're like, yeah, I guess that could work, sure, So and the way they start problem solving and figure things out is really great too. So they're definitely using all their thinking skills. But you guys can do it. You guys can. Don't be overwhelmed by the diffusion and the methods and stuff like that. You work with Frogger at first, and then you can move on. We were a little scared when we did it, so it was good that we had each other. We were like, can we do this? I don't know. What do we do when we don't know what to do? But it's not that bad, and you guys will figure it out. And there's lots of people. You can give me a call too if you need to. I'll help you out.
So Brian, you took like a 1 week class and then just kept.
Oh yeah, no, I was here for the
days, or-
days or whatever that you guys are doing, yeah. Except it was just a little more overwhelming because there were a lot more people and everybody was talking some computer talk that we were like, what's going on?
And then,
So-
but then you just went and worked with it,
Mhm.
and figured it out.
Yeah,
and
yeah, yep. And then, you're going to get those things like, I can't figure out what's going on with your game, and you just can't. And then you just zip it up and send it to Q or Alex, and they'll be like, oh, here, fix it. It's so awesome. And you're like, oh, really? What was the problem? Oh, okay. That was dumb. I couldn't figure that one out. And then you start seeing the same problems come up, and then you'll be able to figure it out. And the kids start figuring out which is the best part. And they're really helping each other, and they love playing each other's games once they finish it. They love challenging each other and trying to figure it out. And then they realize they can make it harder or easier. And then they can make a level 2, and then it could never end. And you can just go on to the next level, or you can make a whole new game. So once they get the touch of it, a lot of kids are like, are you going to do this next year, or we're going to do this again? So that they'll be very excited about it, and you can get them hooked about it. How many people are going to play Frogger with their kids? You're going to go back and you're going to be like, guys, look what I did this summer, and you can pull up your games, and you're going to be like, oh, cool. And then they can go play your games on the arcade. So yeah, I was just like, guys, I made Frogger and Space Invaders and Pac-Man. So.
Well, what I like about that activity is, it's something you can do to teach, but doesn't need computers. So obviously, I think everyone's going to be affected by that issue.
Mm-hmm.
So you can build up a repertoire of activities that support using this.
Yeah.
And then they can do planning or thinking or get these concepts down. And then you go in and shorten the amount of time you get the computers. So.
Exactly, and so that's the problem now is I just wish we had more time on the computers, and logistically it just doesn't work right now. So we're doing the best we can, and it's really It's going well though. A lot of kids are very excited about it, and so we have a lot of kids that are ready. They want to do more. You know, like all right, we got the frog right now. Let's do more. So we're gonna have to introduce a lot of the methods and diffusion and hill climbing. You know, we'd really like to get into some of the STEM simulations, and our middle school teachers that have done that do more of the simulations with a lot of the kids too. So that's pretty good too. Well, I'll be around. I'll be here tomorrow too.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you guys.